Good morning. Just past 6 a.m. Going to the gym like a moron, not realising what today is. Obviously the Queen's funeral, so everything's closed, including the gym. So I guess I'm not going to the gym this morning. I actually got up on time. Up at 5:30, got all organised, did all my things, and then obviously get to the gym and it's like, oh yeah, not open. No bench press for me today, I guess. No 45 minutes of cardio. Anyway, I thought to myself, well, okay, if I can't do that, then maybe I'll do a video. The light is not so good here, so let's see, I'll get back into the light in a second. Let's go for a walk. See how this comes out. Hopefully the audio is okay. An impromptu vlog. So one thing people have been saying to me, or also DMing me, is like, oh, can you do like a daily vlog? Can you show us what you do? Well, I could, but I don't know how much value there is in that. But what I'll do is I'll kind of take out the things that I consider to be valuable and I'll compress them into a vlog. I don't know how many of these I'll do. I find vlogs a little bit, I mean, they're entertainment, but they're not, wow, the sky looks amazing this morning. They're not really valuable, but anyway, let's try. So maybe what I can do is I can do some steps, try and get some steps in today, and can explain to you kind of my methodology for training, and then I guess anything else that I might find useful for motivation. So first things first, let's talk about sleep. So why am I up so early? I tell you what, I feel great, to be honest, waking up this early. You just get like a feeling of satisfaction. I guess you feel good about yourself, but so you can see how early it is. The lights are still on. I woke up at 5:30. How did I get up at 5:30? Well, I went to bed at 9. So I'm using the Apple Watch. It's awesome. Really is a great product. And I've set up the sleep schedule. So roughly speaking, if I get to sleep quickly when I hit the bed, it's like something like 8.5 hours sleep. That's more than enough. I think that's probably my sweet spot. 9 hours, I would then have to go to bed at 8:30. That's just too early. So 9 I can do. 8:30, come on, it's too much. So, why does that matter? Well, sleeping regularly has a huge effect, or sleeping on the same schedule has a huge effect on your circadian rhythm. Obviously, we know how important sleep is, but doing it on a regular schedule makes all the difference. Now, admittedly, I haven't been doing that, and I've been having to make up by sleeping later in the day sometimes. I've done that on the weekend and then trained later in the day, but now this is my new schedule. God, it's so strange walking around this time in the morning. And yeah, I'm going to stick to it. So I think it will make a big difference. All of these things, they all connect to one another. So, you know, if you don't sleep well, then you don't get on with the specific task you're supposed to do early in the day. I had periods before when I was building like my startups where I would wake up at 5 a.m. and I would code for 5 to 6 hours straight. They're the golden hours. And yeah, if you've never experienced it before, it's pretty incredible what you can do in those hours of the day. I would argue it's a 2x on your productivity. So yeah, I think the sleep schedule is really important. Second after that is obviously training. So I'm going to the gym very early, getting in the gym for 6. Heavy weights, again, as I talked about on the previous video, I just do like one set. It's very unorthodox, my approach, but like it's absolutely working. I am literally putting on muscle and losing fat at the same time, which nobody says you can do, but clearly it is possible. I'm sure that will peter out and I'll just level out and just not put muscle on, but not lose it either. Yeah, so training. What else? What else was I gonna do today that I couldn't do? Cardio. So I know it's weird. You wake up this time in the morning, I feel kind of euphoric. Just listen how quiet it is. Anyway, I was gonna do cardio. Why am I doing cardio? I'm not doing cardio for the fat loss or for the calorie burn. I'm doing it for longevity. So, if you know Dr. Attia, Peter Attia, you'll see him online on YouTube. He's been on Tim Ferriss, etc., etc. Basically, the method is as follows: 4 sessions of 45 minutes, zone 2 training. You can calculate your zone 2 based on your age and a few other factors online. You figure out what that range is. You want your heart rate to be within that range, and then you do that for 45 minutes 4 times per week. And then you want one of those sessions to be, or you can do an extra session of 4 minutes on, 4 minutes off at the highest capacity possible, and that's to increase your VO2 max. Why do these things matter? Well, wow, it's cold this morning. They obviously increase your cardiovascular strength, your cardiovascular health. Why does that matter to you? That matters to you for longevity purposes. This reduces all-cause mortality by at least 25%, up to 40%. This is really important stuff. Like, there's no drug that does that. Now, sauna has a similar effect. I mean, there's some things that get reduced by 5x as well. He's talked about it on podcasts and stuff. You have to go watch that. So that's the reason for doing the cardio. And I know I'm going to hate it. And this week I have to do it 4 times. Now, I tried to do that the previous weeks, but had some shit hit the fan. And even though shit has already hit the fan. But yeah, getting back on with that and adding that to the sessions. And this week I'm going to be training every day. Again, 1 heavy set, that's it. Broken up. There is what are they called? I think they're called the Muscle and Fitness Podcast. They're pretty awesome. They talked about this on a previous podcast about doing just a little bit every day. And that's kind of my approach right now. So yeah, what else after that? Then obviously the work, the golden hours, as I mentioned. Let's see if I can stand still. Maybe this is a little bit better video for you guys. Yeah, discipline. I mean, having this kind of regime, this method, is you get a lot done, and everything kind of goes in order when everything goes in order. What I mean by that is that if you're sleeping well and you're training, you want to eat healthy. And when you want to eat healthy, you want to, all of these things, they seem to link to each other. You know, you want to drink a lot of water, you want to sleep at the right time, you want to meditate. They all kind of connect to one another. But when they all kind of go to shit, like for example, your sleep, which is very easy to do, then you're like, oh, I can't be bothered to do the work today, or you won't work as hard, or you're not as productive, which is a huge, you know, that can affect your productivity 2-3x, which is crazy. And then maybe you're like, I can't bother to cook food, so then you eat something bad, and they all cascade. But whereas if you just do each of these things correctly, then they all become a little bit easier. And yeah, it's up to you. Like, what do you want out of your life? You know, do you want to be successful? Do you want to be the best version of yourself? Do you want to be happy so that you're nice to all the people that are around you that you love? I think these are all yeses, right? I mean, so like, just start with one thing. Sort out your sleep. You know, then sort out your nutrition. Then sort out your training. It's not that hard. It's really not that hard. Like, I'm not having to use discipline to force myself. But if some of these factors are out of whack, it's way harder. So for example, I haven't had any alcohol for quite a long time. I think I had a glass of wine maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. I had a glass of wine 2 nights ago at a steakhouse. And yesterday, it had such an effect on how I felt. And I could see how it could affect my motivation. So I can see, like, input output wise testing, I can really see what really changes my state. And sorry, I know this is a bit of a ramble, but these are just my kind of my fresh thoughts in the morning. I hopefully it's useful to you. Yeah, I think if any of these things are out of whack, then everything else becomes harder, and motivation goes down. And but why not just make it easy for yourself? Like, why not play the game on easy mode? And I think playing the game on easy mode is just to do all of these things. Don't go too crazy. You don't want to have a million things to do in the day. You just want a few tasks you need to get done, and one main thing you need to get done, and everything else pales in comparison. Yeah, and that's it. How else how can I finish this video with something useful? Yeah, one thing that I have been thinking about, and I think this applies to everyone, men, women, anyone, is when you build businesses outside of your work that give you an income, it gives you a level of freedom and a feeling that you can't get anywhere else. And until you experience it, which I didn't for a long time until up to a few years ago, it really takes the pressure off. So for example, today, well, I guess not today, tomorrow, I'm returning to freelancing. And I've had this period these last few months where I haven't really done much work. I've probably done a few days work, but my businesses have been paying me every month. And I haven't really had to do any work. Maybe one day, maybe a half a day. It's kind of amazing, really. And that feeling of just that security, of that financial security, and it doesn't mean you have to be super rich, but just giving you a few thousand a month that's just coming in regardless, it just takes the pressure off. And with everything that's happened recently, that I have going on, it makes it all that easier. It could be a lot worse. So I really think it's important for you, no matter where you are, to try and build one of these businesses outside of your work. It doesn't matter what it is. Now, I think probably the easiest way for most people, ironically, is to not start the types of businesses I started. Because learning to code and learning to build those businesses, yes, it can be done, but it's hard and it takes time. Probably the faster route, in my opinion, is to actually start a YouTube. It's the other reason I've started posting daily, because I want to get some momentum here and I want to build out a subscriber base, but I know I can turn that into many different businesses once I've got that size of audience. And I know that my ideas and my worldview, as I've heard Chamath Palihapitiya talk about it, is that if you feel like you've got a worldview that should be out in the world, then it's your duty to get it out there. And that's my idea with this channel. There's a lot of ideas I have that I really think will be useful to people, and I think for the longest time I doubted myself in doing that, and here is my attempt at getting those ideas out there, and to help other people. And that can come in a various range of products and services that can be provided at a low cost to a lot of people. My first one is obviously Learn to Code, which you may have heard about. Learn to Code on building. It's learntocode.to. You can go there and sign up to the waiting list. We've got, I think, around 160 people now on the waiting list. So that's going to be my school, where I'm just going to teach people from zero how to code. And I think I'm probably going to price it around 50 per month, something like that, $49.99 per month. And it will have a community behind it, including me. And, it's the gift that my dad gave me of having me around computers when I was younger. And I learnt to code kind of from when I was about 14. I mean, it's given me everything I have. Everything I've ever had in my life. The opportunities, living in London for 10 years, being able to leave London without any thought in my mind about earning money and how I can earn money anywhere in the world. If all my businesses failed, I could just do that. That's a real gift, and ultimately we all know that's where the world is, not where it's going, but where it is, and that it will always be in demand, and the demand will only increase over time. So that's one of the schools I'm going to build. And then the other things I want to build is around fitness and nutrition, because there's, again, so much BS. And I think my entire vision of this channel is to cut through the BS, is to go straight to the essence and cut out all the fluff. I can't stand these YouTube videos that, you notice I don't do it in any of my videos, it's on purpose. I don't do any of the clipping where they constantly change the frame of the shot to keep you engaged. I don't do any of that stuff. I think that stuff is quite predatory, and it's messing with you just to keep a high viewership. My view is like, I'm gonna post what I deem to be useful and interesting, and like screw everything else, frankly speaking. The color of the sky is going out. Yeah, that's my vision, and ultimately, if I do that daily and I do that authentically and I post what I think is valuable, then the right people will find it over time, and it will grow like wildfire, and I'll build a very big subscriber base of people that truly trust what I'm saying, not that I'm just trying to keep you engaged in a video or try to hack your brain, that I'm really trying to provide value and do that in a short time frame as well. So anyway, this video is getting a bit long, the rant is getting a bit long. I'm going to post this raw. I'm not going to edit any of this. I'm going to give it to you exactly as it was recorded, and yeah, I think that's it. I think that's a good vision for the channel. And watch along, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. I'm not going to ask you to like the video. If you like it, you would have clicked like, and you would have commented below if you wanted to comment, so I'm not going to ask you to do that either. Yeah, and I'll see you on the next video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.